What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Day 4 of the World Cup action. This is video number 2 in World Cup Daily. My apologies for not getting a video out yesterday. 4 matches and then a bunch of other things in real life to get done yesterday made it really hard for me to sit down, shoot, edit, and upload. So I apologize. Let's get right on into this so I don't waste any of your time. Let's go ahead and hit the daily results for day 3, which was yesterday. We had 2 matches in Group C and 2 matches in Group D to talk about really quickly. I'll just give you my quick thoughts and also obviously the results. In the first match of the day, it was France versus Australia. Everybody assumed they would win the game. Australia fought really long and hard with them. Kept it very interesting until right towards the end. Final score ended up being 2-1 to France. Good on them, but a great showing from Australia. Moving right along, in Group D was one of the matches that everybody's been waiting for, and that was Argentina versus Iceland. And maybe not necessarily because of the potential matchup, but because this was Iceland's first match in the World Cup. The other reason why people are really excited is because Lionel Messi stepped on the field, and as one of the greatest players ever to play the game, everybody wants to watch him play. Very impressed with how Iceland, they went toe to toe with one of the perennial powers of soccer, so it was a really exciting match. 1-1 was the ending finale on that one, so Iceland drew with a team that is constantly in the mix to see who would win the whole thing. The other piece of note here is the obvious comparison between Ronaldo and Messi for the last 10 years as who's the best player in the world, whether it's Ronaldo or whether it's Messi. Well, Ronaldo, 3 goals if you remember from the previous video, stood up when he was needed most by his team, pulled a hat trick off, penalty kick to tie it up, and then another free kick right at the death, back of the net goal to give them the tie that they needed. Messi, on the other hand, choked at every opportunity. Every time he touched the ball, he just looked uncomfortable is the best word. He picks up a penalty, he goes to take the penalty shot at the end of the game. Everybody thought, oh great, here it is. This is, Iceland turns into a pumpkin, basically. Messi, very poor take on the penalty. Shot it pretty clean, pretty much telegraphed it. The Iceland goalkeeper made the save. And then right at the end of that game, again, fouled with like seconds left on the clock. Messi again, everybody assumed he's just gonna sink this, and here it is. This is when Iceland turns into a pumpkin. Iceland still dancing at the ball because Messi fired it right at the wall. And that was the end of the game, 1-1. Then we got to struggle bus time for Dan. We had 2 more matches to watch. I tried to sleeping an hour in between each game and then ended up falling asleep through most of the last couple games. I'll just give you the scores. In Group C, it was Peru and Denmark, with Denmark coming up 1-0. And then the final match of the night was also Group D, finishing up their first round of games, and that was Nigeria and Croatia. Croatia ended up beating Nigeria 2-0. So that ended all the action for day 3. Let's take a quick look at the table standings so we can see where they're at, and then we'll get on to day 4 for you. So as you can see, on the Group C side, France in the top spot with 3 points, Denmark also 3 points, then Australia, then Peru. Let's get to today's action, and today had some very exciting matches. Starting off in Group B, we had Costa Rica and Serbia. That was a very cagey, very physical game, a very chippy game, lots of hard tackles and pushing around, and there was a lot of physical activity in this particular game. Very chippy, very physical. Game ended with a 1-0 victory for Serbia. The only thing of real consequence that happened in this game in Costa Rica and Serbia was the amazing screamer of a free kick goal in the 58th minute. Alexander Kolarov stepped over the ball, curled that ball upper 90, dropped it in the back of the net. And the end of that match was 1-0 Serbia, so they pick up the 3 points. Costa Rica unfortunately drops to the bottom, and we move on to the next game. The second match for today was what is one of those marquee matchups like we were talking about in the previous video. It was Group F, Mexico versus Germany. Germany being the reigning defending World Cup champions. Mexico being the CONCACAF, being the best team in the North America region. So we were expecting a fantastic game. Personally, I felt Germany was probably the better side and was going to end up finishing it off. But I'll tell you what, Germany didn't look so good. They were very sluggish on defense. They didn't have any answers for a Mexico team who came out very motivated, very focused, and just drove the ball down their throat. There were a number of times that Mexico should have had a goal. Wonderful counter-striking football. Get into the penalty area and then just kind of didn't know what to do. Chicharito had a number of opportunities in which he just went in and just kind of looked around and you know, coughed up the ball. So very surprising in that regard that you're saying Chicharito probably was the worst player on the team for the Mexican side this time around. That said, their persistence did pay off. That being said, the moment of the match, absolutely, Germany coughed up the ball in their attacking third, lightning quick turnaround, and Mexico was off on that counterattack. Lozano, beautiful screaming strike, 35th minute. So Mexico goes up on the defending world champs. Could not believe it. Unbelievable game. Fantastic, exciting to watch. So let's get to the final game for today. Another juggernaut matchup. The theme of today, I guess, was juggernaut matchups. This featured Brazil, who is the number 2 team in the world, and Switzerland, who is the number 6 team in the world. Wonderful, wonderful teams. Both play extremely beautiful football. And the thing I'll always say about Brazil is, do you ever watch someone and you see them and they're so good at something that you actually hate them for it? Like, I watched Brazil play the first 10, 15, 20 minutes of this match and sat back on my couch, and I was actually angry at how beautiful of a game that they play. Smooth passes, so efficient, in and out, finding the seams, doing all the things that they needed to do. The other side of that, Switzerland did not back down. I'm pretty sure everyone took Brazil as the favorite on this one. Switzerland never gave up any ground. They fought back the entire time, you know, defended very well. It was a really, really interesting, great game. Really interesting play. Just kind of a scrum inside the penalty area. Ball kind of bounces out of the area. Coutinho's there. Laser shot with another just ridiculous curve that hit that upper 90. I could not believe that that ball went in. And it literally was like, I sat back and I may have cursed. I was like, bless you, but you can fill in the part that wasn't bless. So in the 19th minute, 1-0 to Brazil, and that was what it looked like it was going to be for a very, very long time until the 50th minute in the second half. Zuber on a beautiful set piece cross into him, header open in the middle of the 6-yard box, wasn't going to miss from there. Beautiful, ties it up 1-1. They went back and forth. It was a very gorgeous game. You know, I'll tell you, after going through all the matches yesterday, I was so tired, and I just was like, I don't know if I want to get up and watch this, but I prevailed because I promised you guys videos. That's what happened today. I was starting to fall asleep in that third game, in that Brazil-Switzerland game, just watching passes, beautiful, melodic, metronome back and forth, and started falling asleep like this. And man, I'll tell you what, that rocket from Coutinho was like a jolt of lightning. It was like taking, you know, adrenaline and shoving it straight in my heart. I just, oh my gosh, I was alive again, and I made it through the rest of that game. Gorgeous, wonderful to see. And that was all the matches for today. So we finished up pretty much the entire group. The first match tomorrow will be the final opening round for Group F, and then Group G will get right on into the mix. But let's go ahead and look at the table. Okay, so Group E, as you can tell, Serbia with their win today on top of the table, 3 points. That's a surprise considering that Brazil and Switzerland are in that group. Obviously they played today, draw 1-1, and then Costa Rica on the bottom since they lost to Serbia. So we're gonna have to keep an eye on that. Brazil, Switzerland, Costa Rica is still in the mix because of that draw. So if Costa Rica can pull off a win against Brazil or even Switzerland, or even a draw against one of the two, they could be right back into the mix. But they're going to have to win one to move up into that second spot. Serbia's sitting pretty right now. They just got to keep firing away and see what happens there. Hopefully we'll get things worked out to the right teams moving forward. All right, let's move on to Group F. Obviously, we do have only one match to talk about there, and that was the Mexico-Germany game. And since Mexico got the win over Germany, they're on top of the table. It was a little bit of a surprise. Germany, I still pick them to win the whole thing this year. Again, they're just unbelievably good. They're too deep. The talent is amazing, but they're gonna have to do some soul searching and some head scratching to figure out what happened there. Tomorrow morning will be the Sweden and South Korea game, and that will kind of determine what happens in this first set of games. You know, it's World Cup, anything can happen. Finally, let's go ahead and get into a new segment that I'm adding to this. I asked people for feedback on Twitter, and if you want to follow me, you can here at Danicus523 on the tweets. Feel free to tweet along with me. I'd love to talk with you. Soccer is the world's sport. Shout out to Dr. M there. Soccer is the world's sport, and I'd love to share this experience with you. I'm up watching every game, so if you're watching and you'd like to tweet at me while we're doing that, feel free to do so. But got some feedback from Find Me in Seattle, and they said, hey, I would love to see your predictions for the next day's games. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Thanks for that tip. We're gonna go ahead and do that. So tomorrow we've got 3 more games, and that should finish up Group F and get the Group G games out of the way. Starting off with the final Group F game, which would be Sweden and South Korea. Being of Swedish descent with the United States out, I've gone ahead and chose Sweden to be my team for this year's World Cup. I'm gonna go ahead and pick them over South Korea. I'm gonna say the score will be probably, I'm gonna say 2-1 Sweden. So that'll be my prediction there. The next couple of games are in Group G, which would be another first. We've got Panama in their very first World Cup game against Belgium. I'm gonna go ahead and pick Panama 1-0 on that. Only reason there is because Roman Torres, the center back and the captain for Panama, who incidentally is the one who scored the game winner that put them through to the World Cup. What a delightful human being he is. Just a joy. He is just full of life and excited about everything. I really want them to do well. So I'm going to say 1-0 to the Panamanians over Belgium. And then finally, we've got to round up in Group G. It'll be Tunisia and England. I'm going to go with the spoiler pick on this one, just because it shouldn't bring me joy, but for some reason it does. I enjoy watching England lose in the World Cup. So I'm going to take Tunisia 1-0. I'm even going to go so far as to say they're just going to get a last-minute goal in, we'll say the 85th minute. 1-0 Tunisia over England. I'm going to try and keep track of my predictions as we go through. We'll see how we'll keep a running tally starting tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed this. Hit me with your predictions in the comment section below. Hit the thumbs up if you're enjoying these videos. Subscribe if you're new here. I would love to have you for the next month as we watch World Cup soccer. Just as an aside, unrelated to soccer, I usually use this YouTube channel to basically document my journey as I learn how to do videography and photography, and throw little tips that I've learned or little lessons that I've learned along the way. If you're interested in that kind of stuff as well as the soccer, I'd love to have your support. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button so that you know when I post a new video. And guys, I hope you're enjoying soccer. I hope you're enjoying this World Cup. It's been very, very entertaining. And I will see you back here for another World Cup Daily. Go Sweden, Sverige. Just call